Welcome back, everyone. Let's continue our discussion of ventilation, specifically talking about the kinds of ventilation equipment. We'll start out in the kitchen talking about the ventilation hood, all right, and we'll cover the different types of hoods and their design considerations. Kitchen ventilation systems come in two major categories. The first is updraft, and the second is downdraft. And these refer to the direction of air movement from a cooking appliance or cooktop. All right, so if your air is generally moving up and being exhausted up from that cooking surface, it's an updraft ventilation system. If your air is being sucked sideways or down and being exhausted in a downward direction, that would be a downdraft system. All right, so the updraft system is sometimes called a canopy system, and they come in a couple of different types: canopy, mantle or chimney, combo microwave hood, and also a ceiling mount or recessed hood. Those downdraft systems are sometimes called proximity systems. Proximity as in they are very close to the cooking surface. All right. And you can have a standard downdraft system or a telescoping, sometimes called pop-up system. Or there's a newer one called a parametric system. Let's take a look. Starting with the updraft systems, the most common is your canopy hood, and it can either have an integral blower, a ventilator, the fan inside of it, all right, or it can be remote, located along the duct in the attic or on the roof. All right, so they look like this, a canopy system. You could also have a mantle or chimney system. This is two pieces. There's an interior liner with the ventilator and the light. This is all the technical stuff, but it's not meant to be seen. And that liner is covered or housed in a custom enclosure. Continuing with the updraft systems, you can have a combo microwave and hood. All right, and you see one right here. This is fairly common and it's inexpensive. All right, but it's not necessarily ideal for either the microwave use, the cooking, or the ventilation. All right, it's just adequate for both. Finally, in the updraft category is a fairly new um, option, and it's a recessed or flush mount hood. They are ceiling mounted, and they mount flush with the ceiling. So it's a smooth and integral look. They're new, they're popular, they're not necessarily as efficient because they are typically installed much higher over the cooking surface. So you can see one here, and you can see why it's very popular for a contemporary style kitchen, all right? But it is mounted high up on the ceiling. Let's move to the proximity or downdraft exhaust systems. Your standard, downdraft is not retractable, all right? It's integral to the cooktop. It's less efficient and less popular. All right, more popular now is the telescoping or pop-up downdraft systems. They are retractable, so you bring them up when you need them, put them down when you don't. All right, and they can be installed to the side or to the rear of the cooktop. A newer system than that is called the parametric, and para is for perimeter. All right, and it's the newest variation and shapes the flow of air through narrow slots instead of a wider duct work. Let's talk about some different design considerations for your kitchen hood. The first is duct path. You need to exhaust your dirty air from your hood directly outside. And don't exhaust it into the attic. Go out through the wall or the roof to exhaust to the exterior. Also, keep your duct runs as short as possible with the less bends and less elbows that you can. Your hood size. It's recommended that you choose a hood that is 3 to 6 inches wider than your cooking appliance on either side, on both sides of it. All right. It's really common to specify the exact same size. All right. But wider is better. The size that you specify determines the capture ability of the system. How much of the cooking gases will it capture? Your system power is going to be rated in CFM, and we'll go through those sizing calculations in another video. And finally, you want to take a look at the operational noise level. It's measured in sones, and the smaller the sones number, the quieter the fan. Let's take a second look at sizing your hood. They come in some typical sizes, widths of somewhere between 24 and 54 inches in 6-inch increments. All right. Depth is typically 17 to 21 inches. It's very rarely deeper than that. When you mount the hood, you want the bottom of it 24 to 36 inches above your cooking surface. All right. Double check your manufacturer's specifications for both the range and the hood to see if there is a specific recommendation for that equipment. Typically, a larger hood can be mounted higher on the wall than a smaller hood with comparable efficiency. All right, so if you want something to be higher, specify a larger hood. Let's talk about the different exhaust options for your kitchen fans. First of all, you can have a recirculating or ductless system. This is for filtering only and not ventilation. Essentially, you draw the air in and run it through a filter and immediately blow it back into the kitchen. All right. If you have a location that you are not able to exhaust your hood to the outside in some way, you can use a recirculating system. All right. Otherwise, it's not recommended. A more typical exhaust system will send your exhaust outside. You do want to send it all the way to the outside air and not exhaust into a kitchen, into an attic, because that will cause some grease and particles to build up in your attic, which is a fire hazard. So let's take a look right here. We have a typical hood installation with the fan right here in the hood, and it can vent directly out through the wall. It can vent out through the roof, all right, or not shown, it could vent out of the soffit right here, or it could go down and out through the floor. There's another option, and it's called a split system or remote fan or inline fan exhaust system. And this is where the fan unit itself is not located in the hood in the room of the kitchen. Instead, take a look here, it's located possibly in the attic or on the roof. All right. And the benefit here is that the noise of the fan unit is not located in the living space where your occupants are. All right. So it's much less noise in your home. And that's called the inline fan. All right, in this video, we just covered the equipment for ventilation in a kitchen.